Hello, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. And you will be seeing this on Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day. Whether you are in a romantic relationship or not, I know we all have people in our lives that we love. So I hope you all have a wonderful Friday, Valentine's Day. It actually happens to be the day that my husband and I went on our first date. Yes, I do realize that is a very awkward day to go on a first date, but it all worked out. And funnily enough, even more awkwardly, he actually took me to the restaurant he worked at the time. And then many years later, which was 11 years ago now, we found out that we were pregnant with our youngest son on Valentine's Day. So it's a great day for our family. Anyway, I am here for a Febregency update. I've only managed to complete 2 books. They were both actually relatively short, and they actually fall a little bit before the timeline of the Regency era. But the reason I chose these books was because the authors were such important authors to the Regency era and were highly read in that era. So first, The Vicar of Wakefield by Oliver Goldsmith. Now this book is rather odd. You're kind of like, I'm wondering why this is happening and that's happening, and that's rather interesting, but it is really a beautiful, beautiful story. It is by Oliver Goldsmith. And now I think that the vicar himself is what really made the story special and beautiful and touched my heart the most. So the vicar is just a family man. He has been the recipient of inheritance. So even though vicars don't make very much money, he has been able to take care of his family. They're a very loving family. He's got like 4 older kids and 2 little ones, and 2 of the older kids are sons, 2 older kids are daughters. He has a good relationship with his wife, and then where his money was, that person took off with it. You know, he was dishonest, and so the vicar finds himself completely destitute. It even when the oldest son was getting ready to get married, and this was like, you know, a love match, but of course her dad does not want them to continue in the marriage because there's no money there. So they go and they basically, you know, he has this new, more country parish now, and he has a farmer's wife, and they're trying to marry their daughters off wisely. There's a landlord that we're not really sure what to think of him, and there's a friend of the family that we're not really sure what to think of him. The wife and the daughters are tempted to really try to get above their station and try to impress people, and every time they try to do that, they are humbled. And the vicar just is trying to teach his family to trust in God, to have a simple life, to be content with what they have, to be just grateful. One of the sons, like, they have to send him off to work and make his own way. That's an interesting part of the storyline we find out later. And their family, particularly one family member, I don't want to get spoilery, gets taken advantage of terribly. And then the storyline, the plot really picks up towards the end. And you can argue that, oh, well, I don't know, things were tied up with a really neat bow. But they really aren't. There's the one situation that's still a hurtful, sad situation, but things come together and the ending is wonderful. But I think the vicar himself, he gives a lot of little mini sermons that are quite beautiful and quite poignant, and I really enjoy who the vicar represents in the story. So it is a little bit of I can't even tell you why it's odd, but it's an odd story. Then I did a very wonderful buddy read with Dia from Novel Idea. We read The Sentimental Journey by Laurence Sterne together. And boy, was this an interesting journey, to say the least. So I'm so grateful to have read this with Dia, because when it started out, I wasn't sure if I was going to really love it so much. We have a gentleman, and he is going to making his journey from England through France and go to Italy. And at first, I'm not so sure what I think about this guy. He seems to fall in love easily, to really, really enjoy the company of women, but the compassion he shows and the love that he feels for others and for animals even, and creatures, he is just real and honest. That's something that Dee and I talked about a lot, about his honesty and how he would go to a certain point, like with these ladies, and then he would be honorable and pull back. So I think you have the story of a real person, truly. It's a short book, really reading wise. You don't have that much more than maybe like 109, 110 pages, I think was my edition. And there are all these little hints of morality here and there. There are times you'll be frustrated with the character, but then you kind of love him again and you're endeared to him. So I don't feel like there was a huge overarching theme, but there were little lessons along the way, little nuggets, little moments of beauty and realness and connection. And so I'm so thankful to have read this with Dia. I feel like Dia, I always get so much out of it. She's a little bit ahead of me in life in some ways. Her children are grown and she was a homeschool mom. I know she doesn't look like she could have her own children because she looks so young, but it's always like, you know, doing a buddy read with Dia is cheaper than therapy. So I love reading with her. Well, that's what I read so far. I have a whole bunch of other things on the skillet right now that are frying, but that's all I'm going to talk about today, is what I have completed. I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you read a lot. Thanks for coming by. Bye-bye.